country more here. I've been out for a week or so, a little over a week, but I'm going to take you guys through the garden, show you what's happening in the month of June. Today is what, Monday the 1st of June. I'm just going to show you guys exactly what I'm doing. So for those of you who are new to the channel, this is my grow bag area. I have a grow bag area, also have an in-ground area, and a few raised beds here in the backyard. So let's start out in the grow bag area. In one of my previous videos, I had mentioned to you guys that I was yearning for okras in the garden this summer again. I didn't have a lot of seed that I saved back from last season, or last summer that was, and I got some through survival garden. And these plants, they are doing well. These stems that you see have these cutbacks here. These are all places that I've harvested okras from that specific plant over the past two or 3 weeks. So I've been getting okras. This plant here, I missed these okras yesterday when I was doing Sunday dinner, but I still can go in and get these. So I went in with a lot of okras for this summer. So almost every other bag there's an okra plant. And guys, look at these leaves, they're so big and beautiful. And next good thing about okra, other than the heat that they can withstand, is that they're very pest resistant here in Florida. I cannot talk for most parts of the world, but for here in Florida, they stand up to the pest load quite well. This plant right here again, we have some more okras, and with these okras, to get them to bear more or to fruit more, I'm going to be pruning them. So I'm going to be removing some of the leaves from these plants just for it to focus more on producing food. Excuse the birds in the background if you're new to the channel. For those who are used to this channel or viewers of the channel, regular viewers of the channel, you guys know that the birds are always making noise in the background. So please bear with me. They're my company. Over here I have this okra plant. A lot of people would see leaves like these and just allow them on the okras, and nothing is wrong with that. But if you're looking for maximum production, you're going to want to prune your okras a bit, especially in this humid climate that we're in here in Central Florida. This next plant that we'll be moving on to, bell peppers. A lot of Florida gardeners, especially here in Central Florida, do get a bit of challenge when it comes to bell pepper. Let me go over to this side and show you guys some more bell peppers that I have, and I'll just share a bit of bell pepper secret with you guys. A lot of gardeners find it challenging to grow bell peppers here in Florida throughout the summer months and have them producing a lot. This one got sunburned, but a whole lot of gardeners that I see around normally complain about bell peppers in Florida summer heat. So you can get good harvest from your bell pepper here in Florida throughout the summer months, but the trick to it is have a slow release fertilizer on your bell pepper at all time. For me, it's rabbit manure. For you, it doesn't have to be rabbit manure. You can go to your big box store, your nursery, and you can find a slow release fertilizer that works. So I'm doing rabbit manure. It doesn't mean that you have to do rabbit manure. You can do other forms of manure which are slow release fertilizer, and that will stay in your soil or your containers for an extended period of time. But that is really what bell peppers need in the heat. They need a slow release, not something that you just put down and within a week or a week and a half you water it throughout the container or it just dissolves whilst watering. You're gonna need a slow release fertilizer that breaks down slowly over time. I've mentioned milorganite to you guys before. Also Sunnyland is a next good fertilizer that you can use for your bell peppers here in Florida. These bell peppers right here, they're in a semi-raised bed. This is a 4-inch bed, so it's just 4 inches of compost and organic matter that is in this bed. Everything beneath that 4 inches is going to be Florida sandy soil that we're tapping into. So Just keep your bell peppers on a slow release fertilizer, no 10-10-10, no fast acting fertilizer, and you should be good. Here's another bell pepper plant over here, and this has quite a few bell peppers on it also. And we have some baby one. So this plant alone, we have over 12 peppers on this plant. I also have some variegated bell peppers over on this side, and I almost gave up on these bell peppers a few weeks ago because they weren't blossoming and there was just no sign of these plants looking like they were going to fruit for this season. However, I started putting the rabbit urine at the root of them, so I started packing these peppers with nitrogen, and just look closely now at these results. So these are all peppers on this plant. So we have way past a dozen bell peppers on this plant alone. This small plant down here, we have a few on it also, and this is a tiny plant that's coming underneath that one. Over here, lots of pepper, and it's been about 2 weeks now, maybe a week and a half, closer to 2 weeks, since I've been putting the urine directly at the root of these plants. So that's the rabbit urine, and it's diluted. I can't tell you guys exactly how much urine to water dilution is going on to these plants, because when I clean the rabbit hutches, whatever water catches in that container with the urine, I'll just put it directly at the root of these plants, and that's enough nitrogen for your bell peppers if you're not getting enough blossom on your bell peppers. Next thing is the humidity here in Florida can also cause your bell pepper plants to drop blossom. With a lot of nitrogen, it will help them to hold on to blossom. I know some people say it's the next way around. Too much nitrogen will have your blossom fall off your bell peppers. However, with the humidity of Florida or sandy soil, you're gonna need a little more nitrogen than usual on these bell peppers for them to perform this way. So this is just a simple tiny bell pepper plant. It's a variegated leaf. I don't remember if we got this at Home Depot or Lowe's, but we saw the leaves and we were in love with the leaves over what it could have produced. We didn't know whether it was a big hitter or not. We just knew that we loved the leaves, the variegated leaves, and we got this one. And by looking at it now, it looked like it's going to be a heavy hitter because this plant has a ton of peppers on it. Here we have some more banana peppers in the in-ground area. This one has gone to ripe, and I'm just going to be collecting seeds from this one for my fall season. Let's hope I can do it for fall season. If these plants are not shutting down on me, I won't be planting any for the fall season. As long as these plants are in the garden and keep producing, I'm going to be keeping them. Plants that are stressed out most of the time and it's hard to recover them, I'll get rid of them from out of the garden. I just don't have the time of day to be babying plants in the garden. So this bell pepper, I'll be taking seeds from it. So maybe it's going to be for fall garden, or it could be for my spring garden next spring. Let me take you guys over this side and show you our next bell pepper. Not bell pepper, banana pepper that is doing well. And here we have our next banana pepper right here. This one is coming from seed. I got these seeds from Baker's Creek. I don't remember the name of these banana peppers, but they're Baker's Creek banana peppers and they are doing well. We have harvested a few from this plant. If you guys notice down there, we have harvested a few. And maybe around this side too, we have harvested from this plant. So we're using up from the garden. However, it's still giving more than we can use right now. Another plant, another pepper that is doing well in my garden, and a lot of people may ask, what is an jalapeno doing in a Jamaican garden? But these are my jalapenos, and they are very heavy hitters in the warmer month. Something is eating on this one. I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to get rid of that. But the jalapenos, they are giving in this heat. I have a few of them. I think I have about 4 jalapeno plants in the garden. But for the real thing, it's going to be our Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper. And they're over here. I'm just moving you guys from side to side in the garden as we go along. And these are my Scotch bonnet peppers. I'm not sure well it's showing up on camera, but this plant is fully loaded. I think I have more than 50 peppers on this plant alone. Let me come around and see if you guys can just see how well this Scotch bonnet pepper is doing. Look at all the peppers. Peppers everywhere. This next one right here, it's packed with peppers. Now that I'm doing the recording, I'm not seeing them on the camera, but I hope they show up for the video. So there they are, Scotch bonnet peppers all over. And we have a lot of ripe one down there that needs to be harvested. I'm going to get them in a few. Here I have sweet potatoes in this bed right here. I told you guys that I wouldn't go in with sweet potatoes this season again because of how they took over the place last year by running all over. I'm going to be trying to control the sweet potatoes in this bed. I may use the leaves to feed rabbits just to control it. I don't eat the leaves, however the leaves are edible. I've seen people that eat it and they recommend it, and it's used in many cultures. So the leaves are edible. I just don't eat the leaves. I may try them one day, but not right now. I have enough on my hands or in my plate. So the sweet potatoes are in this bed, and with the sweet potatoes in this bed, I still have some green onions. I'm gonna have to cut these back, transplant them, and leave them in this bed. Try to keep green onions in most of my grow area because it helps to deter pests also. When we go back over to the grow bag area or the ingrown area, I'll just show you guys how I sort out with these green onions just to help to ward off pests year round, not just in the summer months but year round. Other things that I use in the garden to ward off pests is the rabbit urine, diluted rabbit urine. I don't pour it on the plants, but I put it in the soil. So it's in the soil. When the sun hit the soil and that smell comes up, and it's not a strong smell, it keeps those pests away. Well, most of them, not all pests. We still get leaf bite. We still have pest issues in this garden. So it's not 100% fix it. However, it helps. So over in this bed, we have some eggplants. And these eggplants are maybe about the size of a chicken egg, a large chicken egg, literally. So these eggplants are about the size of an egg. I went with these because I heard that these will do well in the heat and they will perform over a longer period of time. The last set of eggplants that I had were the very large one. I don't remember the variety, the name of those, but they were some very large eggplants. And they did give me a good bearing. I think it was 2 crop I got out of them, but then they just died back after that, started struggling. So these smaller ones, they said that the longevity in them is a bit more longer. So I'm going to try to see how these eggplants hold up this summer for me in the garden. This season, I also went ahead and did something a bit different in my garden, and that is planting corns. I know it is late for corn to be planted here in Florida now. It's June. I planted these corns about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, and they're looking good. They're coming up good. But I'm going to have a struggle with pests, summer heat, and rainy afternoons, which, as I said before, here I'm not getting a lot of rain, but all over Orlando it's raining every day, so it will be here soon. I'm hoping to get a small harvest from these corn, but the intent was, if I don't get any harvest from these corn, I could crush these leaves and feed the rabbits. So it's a win-win situation for me. I'm just afraid of corn here in Florida because of the pest load. I used to plant corns back home, but here in Florida, if you don't get your corns in ground by about mid-February thereabout, early spring, you're going to be in a bit of problem. Also, you can put them in August to get a fall corn harvest, and August is also tricky for corn here in Florida. So in Central Florida, that is. So the best time for you to plant corn here in Central Florida is going to be about February, May, thereabout. April, still a bit too late. You're going to have challenges, but you still can get a harvest from your corns. And next big thing about corn, they're heavy feeders. So you have to be putting down a lot of fertilizer on them. Corn need they're basically grass. It's in the grass family, so they need a lot of fertilizer. They need a lot of nitrogen. That's gonna push your corn. So this is just an experiment for me to see whether or not I could have taken the chance and plant some corns in May and get a result. Well, whichever way I'm going to get a result, because if I get corn, that's going to be a result, harvest, and if I don't get, it's going to be a result, failure. So it's still a result, and I'm just going to use them if I don't get the harvest from them, as I said, to just feed the animals. So it's not going to be a waste for me, but please do your research if you want to plant corn this time of year in Central Florida. I know they have some heat-tolerant varieties, which you can go ahead and you can check them out and put them in your garden, but just don't go blindly like what I'm doing here, because I have a backup plan. I'll use them to feed my animals. So before I jumped the guns and went to the corn, I was telling you guys that I have green onions in most of my bags, and it helped to keep away pests. So now we're back to the green onion conversation. So if you see, we have green onions almost in every bag. So they are scattered throughout the garden. And the thing with green onions is they're not going to shade out most of your plants that you're going to have in your garden. Here we have more green onions. They're just not going to compete with the plants in the garden shade and for them to get sunlight. So you can have them all over in the garden. More green onions here, and I can take you guys over into the ingrown area and show you where I've restarted some green onions also. So this is just green onion all around mixed in with everything. And for these grow bags, I don't waste the space in my bags. I plant more than one thing in my grow bag. So for example, look at this bag right here. This is an amaranth right here. This is an okra plant right here. And right beside it, we have a corn. So we have 3 things in this bag, and we can even find bags with more than 3 things in them. And they all survive, they coexist, and they do well within the garden. So instead of you going into your grow bags, having just one plant in that bag, go ahead, plant out your bags and see what does best together, and you will know how to plant your next season. If it failed, you tried, you learned something, and if it was successful, you can do it again. Let me just show you guys the green onions. These are the ones that I reset. With your green onions, if you're in a subtropical or tropical climate, you're going to need to reset them after a while. So we have more green onions there, more green onions there. You just have to go in and reset them for at least once a year, not a season, but once per year, because they're going to get overgrown, start lagging, and then most of them are going to start dry and die back. This bed right here, it's a bed with okras, bell peppers, amaranth, and we have a Scotch bonnet pepper right here also. So the entire garden on a whole is doing well. Before we go, let me show you guys something again. This is a tomato plant right here that is doing exceptionally well in the heat. So let me just give you guys the name of this tomato. I got it at, I think it was Home Depot. And you guys can try this tomato out next season, because it's a very heat tolerant tomato so far for me in the garden. They're gonna be the Husky Cherry Red. There it is right there. And I think we found these in Home Depot. I'm not sure if it's Home Depot or Lowe's, but you can find them maybe in both stores. And it's a Husky Cherry Red tomatoes. I've planted some yard long bean this season, and they are doing fantastic in the garden. I don't have any to show right now, any large one to show, but I'll just put up a picture somewhere here with my Sunday harvest. I've been harvesting yard-long beans for the past 4 Sundays now. Every Sunday I've gotten a bean or 2, and one of those beans can feed a family of 4. When we use one of those beans, we eat and we have leftovers. So these are some very huge beans. So let me take you guys down on the south side of the yard, and before we go down to the watermelons, we have been harvesting pumpkins also. We have been harvesting a few pumpkins. We got 3 pumpkins from this spot so far, and we still have a few more to harvest. So let me just take you guys down to the watermelons now and show you what's happening. These are the sugar babies, and they are doing well. Right here, this one is not looking so well, so we can remove this from the plant. It was a bit hard to get that one off. And we have some watermelons here also. So these are the watermelons, and they are doing well. I've started planting some more yard-long beans in this area right here for them to take over just as the watermelon is out. We have some Roselle, which is called sorrel in Jamaica. And in this bed we have some corn. I'm not depending on these corns, guys. So I have a few Roselle in here and a ton of amaranth coming up. Here, these are some more beans that should start trellising soon. And yesterday I went ahead and put some more beans in these bags. We still have watermelon from those that we harvested from still coming up, so I'm going to be watching that one. And coming back through, someone asked me the other day if I had marigold in my garden, or marigold. Yes, I do, but it's by default. My wife has marigold in her little garden area that she has. So she has quite a few in her garden, and because it's a small area that she's using up, she wanted to get rid of some of them, so I planted them here in my garden. So I don't really use them for pest deterrent. Yes, they're good for pest deterrent, but for my garden that I'm using up the space, it's smarter for me to use things like green onions in my garden to keep away pests with the smell of green onions, because we do consume green onions. We don't consume marigold, but it's a good one to put in your garden if you want to ward away a lot of pests. So nothing is wrong with it, it's good, it's just not my choice. Last season I told you guys that I would be planting my gingers in containers so that it will be easier this season for me to harvest. There you go, these are all gingers in containers right here. Ginger in the grow bag, more ginger right here. And these are gingers around this okra plant, because the okra plant is going to grow up, it's going to fruit, but the ginger is going to bear underground. So I'm good with the ginger in this location right here. So I've mixed in the ginger with the okras and also a few Malabar spinach coming up. So all these plants that I'm mentioning, they are good in the summer month. Here we have a sweet potato coming up in this bag. I don't want it here, so I'm just going to uproot it and get rid of it. Today is the 1st of June, and I'm still getting cucumbers from these plants. So they're still pushing, still coming along, not bad at all. But talking about cucumbers, let me show you guys this one. This is a West Indian burr cucumber, and I'll be planting this one. It's a much smaller cucumber. We call them cucumber. It's a much smaller cucumber, and it handles the heat way much better than your average variety. So if you want to plant cucumbers throughout your summer month, you definitely have to go and do your research and get some heat-tolerant cucumbers. The last time I was here with you guys, I was doing some heat-tolerant lettuce. Something came in and bite back all of the lettuce that I had sown. So I was to go in again and start all over again from seed. So they're just coming back. I think I put these in last Monday, and today is Monday the 1st of June, so I don't know the date last Monday was, but they're in a week now, and we have gotten germination and they're in the growth phase. So these are doing well, but hadn't it been for something that had came in and eaten those lettuce, we would have been long gone or way ahead of where we are now. Here, I don't know the variety of this passion fruit. This is a passion fruit plant, or many passion fruit plants. My wife and I went to a nursery where they had these passion, and there are some very large purple passions. They're like the size of a grapefruit. And we wanted a plant, but it was quite expensive. They wanted like $50 for a single plant in a container. Some container had 2 plants in it, but they had a stand where they were letting you taste the passion fruit, and I went ahead, tasted it, took the seeds, put it in my pocket, took them home, and this is the result. So some of the times you can use up that small thing up there. So I'm going to find a place in the yard to put these passion. We have some other regular passions. I don't know if I should call them regular passion, but we have some more passions over on that side of the yard. And I'm a bit afraid of them, and the reason why I'm a bit afraid of them is the same reason I don't have the plant that I wanted to show you. It is the same reason why I'm afraid of certain flowering plants in my garden. I don't want to attract a lot of butterfly in my garden. Yes, I want pollinators, bees and other things, but butterflies, they're only flying caterpillars. Yes, they're beautiful, but they will eat up your plants. So I try to avoid a lot of flower plants that attracts butterfly. They're beautiful, they're for some people, they're not for everyone, and they're definitely not for me in my garden. When gardening, just remember, every time you see a butterfly, that's a flying caterpillar. That's a caterpillar with wings. It's what it is. I'm not sure how long this video is, but this video will be posted on Wednesday, and I have a video coming up on Saturday. Read the chicken, because I'm facing a major problem through my layers right now, and you're going to want to see that video. So please remember to like, hype, and subscribe to the Country Marro YouTube channel. Even though I've been gone for a week, I'm still here with you guys. So that's going to be from Country Marro. God bless you all. See you in the next one. Happy gardening and cheers.